Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review. I'm convinced KFC they're on another plane of existence. I will just say that outright. They got me. I don't know if they have interdimensional research capabilities, if they just have the best think tank on the market today, if they got lucky or what, but all I know is that they are so far ahead of the curve, it's incredible. And I never thought I would say that about KFC, I never did. But I remember, harking back to about maybe a week and a half ago, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, I was sitting there reviewing that pickle juice slush from Sonic. And at some point, I muttered under my breath. I said, this is going to be a trend of the summer. And what does KFC come out with? Their pickle fried chicken, which they said was going to be selling like hotcakes. They're on a whole nother plane of existence. That's all that I have to say. And I'll be quite honest. Today, when I woke up, I felt absolutely sick. Physically sick. And, when they say about how you feel, time stands still. But as the saying goes, power to the pickles. And I went over to KFC and I got this pickle juice chicken sandwich. Now, you may inquire, well, pickle fried chicken, what is that? I was a little thrown off by it myself, because what I thought this was going to be, I thought this was going to be like a piece of chicken that was marinated in pickle juice, right? And then cooked up and then put on a bun. But actually, they get their fried chicken, they kind of dunk it in pickle juice after it's fried. And then they slap it on a bun. And I thought, that was a little off-putting, quite frankly. I would have preferred it to have been marinated, say, in the pickle juice. But if it was fried, and then kind of drenched in the pickle juice, wouldn't that kind of just make it soggy and take away from the crunchiness? I was a little confused, but we'll see how they ended up doing it. As I said, they said this thing is going like crazy. We'll see. And this is what it looks like. And this is all that they had, I'm afraid, but what's important is how it tastes. You could get it as the crispy kernel sandwich style. You can get it just as like a Chicken Little. I think you could even just get the strips. Anyway. There's me with the sandwich, looking at it, I'm thinking about life while I'm looking at the sandwich. And how about we debun it? Of course, the main emphasis is the pickle juice, granted. You can see the hairs that usually come on the pickle, right there. That's included. I'm just kidding, that's not hair. I hope it isn't anyway. And there's the sandwich. Crispy, what it is, it's just their crispy chicken, again, saturated in the pickle juice, and then a few more pickles for the heck of it underneath it. You can see right there. Right? And then it's got some sauce. Sorry for the car, that's just the car making some noise. But of course the main emphasis is going to be pickle juice and how that kind of enters the equation. I'm just going to try it out, let you know what it tastes like, and we'll just go from there. So it's the pickle fried chicken from KFC going in. I'll take a few more bites, but I already know what I'm going to say. Right, you know what I'm going to say. You could tell from the get-go what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that I think that's an interesting looking cloud over there, and that I found the sandwich to be underwhelming, quite frankly. For all the hype, where KFC even made the dubious assertion that they said, we're not going to promote this sandwich with the Colonel, the famed Colonel, right? The Colonel resurrected, the Colonel 2.5. We're going to get a panel, you know, of taste testers to tell you how good this sandwich is. And you're going to see the lines, you're going to see the hype, you're going to see everyone talking about this pickle brine chicken, and it'll speak for itself. And to make such a claim is going very upfront. You know, they're saying, listen, you're going to like this, and I guarantee it. I was expecting the pickle flavor, you know, because that's what they're really emphasizing, right? Pickle fried chicken. You know, they're even trying to kind of make a joke instead of calling it Kentucky fried chicken, pickle fried chicken, trying to kind of make a similar IHOP play. To do such a thing, you would expect there to be more flavor in it than there really was. I tried the chicken. It was nowhere near as dill pickle-esque as the you know, that slush from Sonic was. And that's just the fact of the matter. It's not like I bit in and it was, you know, boom, just this tartness that you would usually find in a dill pickle. It wasn't there. It was underwhelming. There wasn't much to say about the chicken itself. You know, there wasn't as much crunch as I was hoping for. There is that little bit of tanginess from the pickle sauce, but by no means was it, you know, anything incredible. Quite frankly, had they have just marketed this differently, I probably would have taken a bite, and I would have just attributed any of that pickle tanginess that is on the chicken to just the existing pickles that are already there, or maybe the way that the sauce kind of interacts with the chicken, and I wouldn't have thought that this is any special pickle juice fried chicken. So that's where the issue is. It's underwhelming. The way they market it, the way they advertise it, the way they hype it up, I would, even if it's off-putting, I would want it to be like a really strong dill pickle flavor, similar to how that slush was. But unfortunately, it doesn't taste that way. And that was a little disappointing because, again, that's the entire base on their marketing, and I think they missed the mark on it, and I wish it could have been a little crunchier as well. Otherwise, though, the sandwich is pretty standard. I really don't have much else to say. You know, it's otherwise similar to the standard crispy kernel sandwich, except a little less crispy. Chicken quality's alright. The existing pickles on it are okay. Sauce is alright. Bun is intact. But again, of that dill pickle sauce being the forefront of their marketing campaign and everything that they're talking about, I just would have expected more, and unfortunately, it didn't put out as I was hoping. And that's where it stands. You know, I know they don't put out a ton of stuff, but sometimes they'll hit the mark, sometimes they won't, and that's just how it is. They'll be releasing more stuff going forward, and we'll see how any future releases are. This is $4.80 for the sandwich. A little pricey for what it is, but again, I guess as a novelty, that's okay. Therefore, out of 10, I'm going to be rating this sandwich a 6.0 out of 10, because while it tastes alright, again, I just think for what it was being marketed as, it just could have been better. And that's what I have to say when it comes down to that. That's all that I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Today's review was for the Pickle fried chicken from KFC, and underwhelming. Didn't meet expectations, but that's just how it is, you know? Luck of the draw, as they say. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thereportoftheweek. Just a way to help out this channel, keep it going. And, hey, stay tuned for this week. Might just have an average day coming up, you never know. That's all that I have for you. No matter what, I'll see you again in a couple days with a radio broadcast or another video. Until then, thank you. Take care. That's all that I have. Thank you for watching this review.